Jessica Palmer pressed her back against the cold brick wall, her heart pounding in her chest like a sledgehammer. At 17, her thin frame was swallowed by an oversized hoodie, hiding the trembling of her hands as she clutched the small pocket knife. Rain soaked through her worn sneakers, the same pair she'd been wearing for 3 years straight because her single mother couldn't afford new ones on her minimum wage job. $2,000. That's what they needed by Friday to avoid eviction from their apartment. $2,000 standing between them and homelessness. The financial burden crushing her mother had become unbearable after the medical bills from Jessica's grandmother's cancer treatments had depleted their emergency fund. Their health insurance had denied critical claims, leaving them drowning in debt consolidated across 3 maxed-out credit cards. The wealthy-looking elderly man approached slowly down the dimly lit street. Even with his advanced age, there was something regal about his gait, a confidence that never faded. Jessica had chosen this upscale neighborhood near the private medical center because people here carried cash. They wore expensive watches. They had freedom most people in her neighborhood would never know. Just one person, she whispered to herself. Just one person with enough money that they won't even miss it. The man passed beneath the streetlight, and Jessica's breath caught. The face, older now but unmistakable, belonged to Muhammad Ali, the legendary boxing champion. She'd seen him in old fights her father used to watch before he abandoned them. The 3-time heavyweight champion of the world was now walking alone, just feet away from her. For a split second, Jessica hesitated. But desperation overcame her moral compass. She stepped out from the shadows, knife trembling in her outstretched hand. "Your wallet," she demanded, her voice cracking. "I need your wallet now." Ali stopped, his eyes meeting hers with unexpected calmness. No fear, no anger, just a profound stillness that made Jessica's hand shake even more violently. "You know who I am, young lady?" he asked, his voice slightly slurred from the Parkinson's disease that had ravaged his once powerful body. "I don't care who you are," Jessica lied, fighting back tears. "I just need your money." Ali didn't reach for his wallet. Instead, he did something that would change the trajectory of Jessica's life forever. He smiled. "I've been where you are," he said softly. "Not with a knife, but with nothing. Hungry. Scared." Jessica's knife hand faltered. "I'm not scared," she spat back, but the tears now streaming down her face betrayed her. "There's a diner round the corner," Ali continued, gesturing with a slightly trembling hand. "How about instead of taking my wallet, you let me buy you dinner, and we talk about whatever's got you holding that knife? If this story has made you feel something already, no matter how small, don't leave without giving back. Comment and tell me where you're watching this video from, and subscribe to the channel." The vinyl booth squeaked as Jessica shifted uncomfortably. The 24-hour diner was nearly empty, save for a few night shift workers grabbing coffee. The waitress, an older woman with kind eyes, brought over 2 steaming mugs without judgment, though Jessica knew she must have looked like trouble. "I ordered us both hot chocolate," Ali said, his legendary hands now cupped around the warm mug. "Used to drink it before big fights. Calms the nerves." Jessica stared at her reflection in the dark liquid. The knife was now safely tucked in Ali's jacket pocket. He'd asked for it calmly, and somehow she'd handed it over without protest. "My mom's gonna lose our apartment," she finally confessed, her voice barely audible. "We need $2,000 by Friday or we're homeless. The financial institution won't extend our deadline again. Mom's working 3 jobs. I tried getting work, but nobody hires high school dropouts." Ali nodded slowly. "Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today." "I didn't have a choice," Jessica snapped. "Someone had to take care of my grandmother when she got sick. Her cancer treatments cleaned us out even with her Medicare. Mom couldn't miss more work or she'd lose her job." Ali studied her face. "What's your name, young fighter?" "Jessica Palmer." "Well, Jessica Palmer, you remind me of myself when I was young, full of fire, ready to fight the world." She scoffed. "Yeah, right. You were a champion." "Before I was a champion, I was a scared kid from Louisville whose bicycle got stolen. I told a police officer I wanted to beat up whoever took it. He told me I better learn to box first. Allie's eyes twinkled with the memory. That officer, Joe Martin, became my first boxing coach, changed my whole life trajectory. Jessica looked up. So what? You're offering to be my boxing coach now. I'm offering you something better. A job. A job. Jessica's eyes widened. Where? I own a small foundation downtown. We run after-school programs, literacy initiatives, and yes, a boxing gym for at-risk youth. We need someone to help with administrative tasks, filing, answering phones, basic computer work. Pays $15 an hour, 20 hours a week to start. The amount registered in Jessica's mind immediately. That would be $300 a week, $1,200 a month. Not enough to solve all their problems, but enough to keep a roof over their heads. Why would you help me? Jessica asked suspiciously. I tried to rob you. Because someone once helped me, Allie replied simply. And because beneath all that anger, I see someone fighting for survival. That's what champions do. Jessica's eyes welled with tears again. I'm no champion. Not yet, Allie said with that famous smile. But everyone starts somewhere. As they left the diner, Allie made a call from his cell phone. Jessica overheard fragments. Private emergency fund, temporary housing assistance, credit counseling services. Before they parted ways, Allie handed her an envelope. Inside was exactly $2,000 in cash. This isn't charity, he said firmly, seeing her expression. It's an advance on your salary. You'll work it off. And tomorrow, 9 a.m. sharp, you'll meet with a financial advisor from my foundation who specializes in debt consolidation and creating emergency funds for families in crisis. Jessica clutched the envelope, speechless. One more thing, Allie added, his eyes serious. The greatest mistake a person can make is to be afraid of making one. You made a mistake tonight. Don't let it define you. Let what you do next define you. The Muhammad Ali Community Foundation occupied a renovated brownstone in downtown Louisville. Jessica arrived 15 minutes early, her mother's tearful gratitude still ringing in her ears. She told her mom about the job but omitted the attempted robbery. Some truths were better left untold. The receptionist, a woman named Marlene with immaculately styled hair and a warm smile, greeted her. You must be Jessica. Mr. Ali called ahead. Said you're a fighter. Jessica managed a small smile. I'm trying to be. Her new workspace was a small desk with a computer that looked newer than anything she'd ever owned. Her first task was to organize the foundation's digital database of donors and community partners. As she scrolled through the list, Jessica recognized major corporations, local businesses, and even a few celebrities who supported Ali's mission. At noon, a man in a crisp suit appeared at her desk. Hi, Jessica Palmer. I'm Marcus Reynolds, financial consultant for the foundation. Mr. Ali asked me to meet with you. Marcus led her to a small conference room and spent the next hour explaining terms Jessica had never fully understood. Debt consolidation, credit score rehabilitation, emergency fund planning, budgeting strategies. Based on what Mr. Ali told me, your family's situation is challenging, but not impossible, Marcus explained, sketching figures on a notepad. With your new income and proper budgeting, we can create a sustainable financial plan. The foundation also partners with a nonprofit credit counseling service that can help negotiate with creditors. Jessica absorbed every word. For the first time in years, financial stability seemed possible. Not immediate, but possible. After the meeting, she was introduced to Darren Washington, the foundation's program director. A former amateur boxer with an MBA from a prestigious university, Darren had grown up in the same rough neighborhood as Jessica. Mr. Ali sees something in you, Darren told her. That means something. He's got a sixth sense about people. I don't understand why, Jessica admitted. He barely knows me. Darren leaned back in his chair. Sometimes people see in us what we can't see in ourselves. That's what great mentors do. Throughout that first week, Jessica immersed herself in the foundation's work. She learned they provided free checkups through partnerships with local healthcare providers, offered entrepreneurship workshops for teenagers, and maintained a digital literacy program for seniors. The foundation was more than charity. It was about creating sustainable paths to self-sufficiency. Ali himself rarely came to the office due to his health, but his presence was everywhere. In the mission statement, in the philosophy, in the lives being transformed. On Friday, Jessica received her first paycheck along with an invitation. Ali wanted her to visit his home that weekend to discuss her future. The note mentioned she should bring her mother. The Ali family home sat on a tree-lined street in a comfortable but not ostentatious neighborhood. Jessica and her mother, Maria, stood nervously at the front door. Maria, still wearing her waitress uniform from her morning shift, kept smoothing her hair. "I still can't believe Muhammad Ali himself gave you a job," she whispered. "And now we're at his house." Before Jessica could respond, the door opened. Ali's wife, Lonnie, welcomed them warmly. "Muhammad's been talking about you non-stop," Lonnie told Jessica with a smile. "I says you've got the same fire he had as a teenager." She led them to a sunlit living room where Ali sat in a comfortable armchair. Despite his condition having progressed, his eyes still sparkled with the same intelligence and humor that had captivated the world. "The Palmer women," he greeted them, his speech slow but deliberate. "Thank you for coming." Over tea and homemade cookies, Ali explained why he'd invited them. "Jessica has impressed everyone at the foundation, quick learner, hard worker, but she needs her high school diploma." Jessica looked down at her hands. "That's why," Ali continued, "we'd like to offer her a scholarship to complete her GED and then attend college part-time while continuing to work for us." Maria gasped. "College? But we could never afford—" "The foundation has an educational trust fund," Lonnie explained, "for promising young people committed to community service." "Me?" Jessica questioned. "After what I did?" Ali fixed his gaze on her. "Especially after what you did. You made a desperate choice, then chose to change your path when given the opportunity. That takes courage." He gestured to a bookshelf where dozens of trophies and awards gleamed. "Those aren't my greatest achievements. My greatest achievements are the lives I've helped change. People who found their own greatness because someone believed in them." He turned to Maria. "Your daughter tried to rob me because she loves you so much she was willing to risk everything to keep you from losing your home. That kind of love, misguided as her actions were, deserves to be channeled into something powerful." Maria wiped tears from her eyes, looking at her daughter with new understanding. "The scholarship comes with conditions," Ali continued. "Maintain good grades, volunteer 10 hours a week at our youth center, and most importantly, when you succeed, and you will succeed, you must help someone else the way you're being helped now." Jessica felt something shift inside her, as if the weight she'd carried for years had been redistributed, not removed but made bearable through shared support. "Why me?" she asked again. Ali's response was simple. Because champions aren't made in the ring, they are merely recognized there. What you do with your life right now, how you fight for yourself and your mother, that's what makes you a champion in my eyes. 5 years later, Jessica Palmer stood at a podium, her business administration degree fresh in her hand. She had graduated with honors while working her way up to program coordinator at the Ali Foundation. Her mother sat in the audience and alongside Lonnie Ali. Muhammad had passed away 2 years earlier, but his legacy lived on, not just in boxing history, but in the lives he'd transformed. "My journey began with a desperate choice on a rainy night," Jessica told the audience of at-risk teens at the Foundation's annual scholarship ceremony. "I tried to take a shortcut through crime, but was offered something more valuable instead, a chance to fight for my future the right way. Muhammad Ali taught me that true wealth isn't measured by money in your bank account or a premium health insurance plan. It's measured by how many lives you touch and how much love you put into the world." She looked out at the faces watching her, teenagers not unlike herself 5 years ago, struggling, desperate, looking for a way forward. Today, each of you is receiving a scholarship and a mentor through our Foundation's executive coaching program. This isn't charity. This is investment in your potential. All we ask is that when you succeed, and you will succeed, you reach back and help someone else climb up too. That's how real change happens. Not all at once, but one life at a time. As the ceremony ended, a young man approached Jessica. His clothes were worn, his eyes carrying that same desperate look she once had. "Miss Palmer?" he said hesitantly. "I don't know if I belong here. I've made some bad choices." Jessica smiled, remembering Ali's words to her years ago. "The greatest mistake a person can make is to be afraid of making one," she told him. "Your past choices don't define you. What you do next does." And in that moment, Muhammad Ali's legacy continued through her, a living embodiment of his belief that champions are made not by their victories, but by how they help others win their own battles. If you've made it this far and felt every word, don't leave without subscribing. I tell these stories with my heart in my hand to reach people like you who feel, who get emotional, who live. If this truly touched you, give back. Comment. Subscribe. Come be part of this family with me until the next video.